Okay, so hello everybody. Those of you who will know me, I'm Holly. I'm the founder of One Life Health and Fitness. Welcome to the How to Live Your Best One Life series, which we share all over our socials, really across YouTube and Instagram. But mainly the purpose of this is to be able to catch up with our incredible women who have decided to make change in their life and fulfill some amazing achievements and goals, and share those journeys with you so that you can really listen to the process and how they got to their success. Today I am speaking to Jen, and Jen is a gorgeous girl who I've known for many, many, many years, because Jen and I actually had a period of time where we went to school together way back when. We won't even talk about how many years. But Jen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to give everyone a bit of an overview and kind of introduce yourself? Just tell everyone a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I'm Jenny. I live in Deering, Kent, with my gorgeous pup Ted. So started my One Life journey about 9 months ago, I'd say. So being hard at it, making some good changes, and yeah, really pleased to be here to talk about it today.
Yay! Yeah, you've had an incredible journey. And one of the things that I definitely want to bring up later is, I guess, around maybe not skepticism as a word, because that's quite a strong one, but I think there was a part of you that was like, it's quite a big investment. I don't know whether I'm going to make the change. And there's some nervousness around that. And I think obviously you had a bit of a 360. I cannot wait to go through that with you. But let's just start by talking about where you were before One Life. What did your kind of life and health and fitness look like?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I've ever been a particularly active person. I've kind of had periods in my life where I have and haven't been active. But I suppose kind of I turned maybe 29 and gained quite a lot of weight after some life changes and circumstance changes. And I was just feeling quite unhappy with how I looked, how I felt, just didn't feel like I was living my life to the fullest, and kind of shrinking myself, avoiding situations, saying no to things that I wanted to do but didn't feel confident to do. So yeah, I think I'd gained about 4 stone from where I am now. Over about a period of a year, like quite a big change, and I kind of managed to. I got a dog, and kind of increased my activity, and gradually lost kind of 2-ish stone over maybe the course of 3 years, just from walking, really, but was still at a point where I was not happy with myself, didn't feel confident, wasn't wearing clothes that I wanted to wear, wasn't excited to shop, wasn't going on dates that I would have wanted to go on, but I just didn't feel confident to. How it all started was our mutual friend let me know about Sparkle for Summer program, and yeah, at first I thought, oh, no, like, would be fun to do it, but no, I don't think so. And then I just thought, you know what? Why the hell not? I'm just going to give it a go. And I think I obviously had hopes to get fitter and feel better about myself, but yeah, I didn't ever think that I'd kind of get as far as I have, and just kind of started without any big hopes, I think. I definitely wanted to get into kind of some workouts and some training. Quite conscious of kind of entering your mid-30s and bone health and muscle and all of that. So that was a motivator as well. But also just feeling quite sluggish and tired a lot of the time, quite unmotivated, and just everything felt like quite a lot of effort for me at that point.
Yeah. There's so much there, and I think as a single woman in my mid-30s, it's like the whole kind of, you've touched on two things that I think that go through our head. Yes, we've got all of the same kind of worries about, our bodies and hormones changing and our muscles and our bone density, but also you touched on the world of dating and the confidence needed for that. It's quite a challenging world, right? And I love the fact that has changed for you, and I will come on to that later on, because there is actually quite a funny story, whether you want to share it or not. But like, I think that not wanting to go out and hiding yourself and kind of being at home is quite a sad place to be in your 30s.
And when I would go out, I just wouldn't put myself out there, because I thought, oh well, I just didn't have the confidence to kind of feel worthy of kind of going for what I want.
Yeah, that's crazy. And like I said, we'll come back to that for sure, because I love that that's been a big shift for you. For you, life is busy. You've got quite a stressful job, and obviously you've got Ted. Now, obviously I've got Bailey. Now, we know that dogs are a bit of a tie and they're quite challenging anyway, but of course Ted has his additional kind of health constraints, and he can't really leave the house, and obviously has quite severe separation anxiety, right? So for you to be able to actually have the opportunity to get to the gym and everything else, despite not having children, is really tough for you.
Yeah.
Was that one of the big things for you, that kind of maybe thought that you weren't you weren't able to get to where you thought you were going to be because of that sort of situation and not being able to get to the gym?
I don't know. I'm not sure that factored into it. I just think kind of a belief that I wouldn't achieve, whatever I did. Kind of, I've done all the classic diets before, tried new workout regimes before, and nothing really stuck. So I think it was just more of a belief that it would be a disappointment. I'd put in lots of effort and wouldn't get the outcome I wanted. So yeah, I think, not getting to the gym, obviously it's not being able to get to the gym, it's a challenge, but no, I don't think so. I think it was just more kind of not knowing where to start.
Yeah, now my dog's kicking off. That whole point of, Bailey, come here. That whole point of failure and not being able to achieve is massive. Taking that leap of faith into the group program initially was quite a big step. How did that feel for you when you were like, yep, I'm gonna do it? Like, what were those kind of thoughts going and feelings when you actually said yes?
So without loads of expectations, I was quite excited, just because obviously our mutual friend Holly was in the group program, and we kind of were sending each other pictures of our day and our progress, and it was really exciting. Quite at the first few days there was quite a lot to kind of process and lots of tweaks and changes, but just sheer excitement really, of trying something new and kind of being part of a community, the One Life girls, and that was really fun to get started with, and to have that group chat and kind of sharing wins, and it was really exciting, really exciting.
Yeah, that makes me happy.
What came next?
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I think, it can be really nerve-wracking, really daunting, and overwhelming, right? You've suddenly got to start thinking about your food, and you've got to think about your movement and everything else. And yes, you were actually pretty good. Like, you had already been moving more with Ted and obviously walking Ted. But there was this element of what do I do at home? Like I haven't really ever kind of got into too much of my exercise, and we created obviously home workouts. I think a lot of people think that they don't. And actually, before I go into this, you've lost 2.5 stone, right, in this process, which is absolutely phenomenal. There's so many women watching this or listening thinking, well, if I can't get to the gym, I'm not going to be able to do it, right? I'm not going to be able to get the results just from home workouts alone. And of course, there's a huge part of nutrition to this. How's that whole element of it been doing this from home?
So I suppose in a way, potentially, I suppose I've got nothing to compare it to, but it just means that you know, obviously you have to carve out the time to do your training, but you can slot it. You know, I just slotted it in kind of. I think I did a few lunchtime workouts and after work or later in the evening. So I found it quite easy, really, to kind of slot in and start finding time. And I, you know, in between my rest windows, I'd go and chop up a courgette for dinner, or you know, I'd get so it actually worked quite well. I'd go give the air fryer a shake, you know. So.
I love that. I didn't even know that you did that, Jen. I genuinely didn't. That's like pro tip.
Yeah. So yeah, it was all right. Obviously, I had to invest in a bit of equipment. My lovely neighbour also does some training, so we would constantly be swapping weights around. And can I have the 3 kilos today? You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, it was good. And I think what I noticed very quickly, obviously after the first workout, I was texting you saying, "Help me! What do I got?"
SOS.
But yeah, I think I very quickly kind of realised how different I felt, and I think actually I remember the first few weeks saying to you, when do I get the buzz? Like when I don't get the buzz, and then after a while, I'd say after maybe 3 weeks or so, I was like, there it is. And I think my buzz kind of came in like more energy. So I'd be like, it would be late evening and I'd be folding up my laundry and I'd be like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, because I'm buzzing. So yeah, so that felt really good. And I think I also saw a real change in my focus, like in terms of at work, my concentration and focus and productivity really skyrocketed with working out. So yeah, and kind of hitting those steps and getting out and about. Obviously the dog's benefited because he's had longer walks, and yeah, it just feels invigorating to move.
And I love that word. Invigorating. Like, what a fantastic way of putting it. And I do remember you saying to me, like, when do you get the buzz? And actually, this is a really good point that people really need to listen to in this, because with diet culture and with quick fixes and with all of that stuff, we're constantly looking for a quick win, quick fix, quick results, all of that kind of stuff. And actually, even what you've said in terms of the buzz from your workouts, it's that delayed gratification and that process of continuously, you know, putting the effort in, being constant and intentional with your workouts, consistent with your behavior. I have to say, Jen, like with your tracking in particular as well, like you have been on it. Like when you're doing something, you're doing it. Like you've been so great with your food.
Yeah, and I think, you know, only having to worry about cooking for myself is a massive advantage in that. You know, I could track precisely, and I think, you know, those around me kind of thought this is a bit much, and I said, well, do you know what? If you're going to do it properly. I'd rather know exactly that in a week's time I'm going to see that fat loss. You know, what's the point doing it half-hearted? If you're going to do it, do it. So yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I still do. And I think it was a real eye opener. I think the first few days of tracking, I thought, wow, okay, I have been overeating, big time, without having, you know, any idea. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think for you as well, what you've just said about the whole tracking thing is so key. Lots of women think that tracking is obsessive. So I get this quite a lot, and they're like, oh, I don't want to track my food because it's like I'm getting obsessive about it. And it's like, but you're obsessing over the wrong thing. And I think that's the key, is that women start to think, oh, they're calorie counting and I can't have this. They think that by tracking, they are restricting. But actually, that's not the case. I mean, we've spoken, and you have really lived by the 80-20 rule so well. You've been fab. But there's been times, of course, where you've like, yeah, I'm having fish and chips with living in Deal, and fish and chips in Deal being like pretty great. Like having fish and chips with the family.
Yeah, and not worrying. You know, that there have been some times where I've just thought, no, I'm going to go out with a guy, or I'm going to have fish and chips, and then there have been times where I've made that work. So, for example, we'd usually have a Domino's takeaway on a girls' night, and I went on to your guide around. I think it was on there, and and I thought, nah, I'm not. I've worked really hard this week. I've put in a lot of effort, and there's that, like, you know, Domino's is probably the worst you could choose in terms of a takeaway. And I just thought, there's absolutely no way that I'm undoing, or not undoing, but, you know, I'm just not willing to do that. So my girlfriends were like, let's get a shish kebab instead, and we did that, and so I still enjoyed my, you know, routines and gatherings, but at times made adjustments. Other times I just, you know, went for it and had a good old drink or a nice old takeaway with the family, and I think that's what makes this sustainable, is being able to have some flexibility when you want it, and being able to make some tweaks and adjustments when, you know. I think I've kind of looked at it as like, there are days to celebrate, and there are, you know, when I'm just midweek, there's no need to what's the word, overdo it in terms of calories and stuff. Like there's no, it's just boring weeknight. Like there's nothing to celebrate, you know. And then there have been other times where I've just thought, yeah, go for it, I live life.
One life.
Yeah, and that's what's made it. That's how I've stuck to it. Is it's not just been total deprivation. Obviously, there are, you know, you have to make choices around some things, but that's how it's worked. And I think also the learning around the protein and the importance of that, not just for kind of muscle preservation in a fat loss phase, but just in terms of staying full. Like that is, for me, that's been probably the game changer, and that's what's been different to kind of other diet programs I've tried before.
Yeah, I love that, because I think it is all around education. I mean, I probably couldn't have said it better myself. Like, it's definitely about choice. And yeah, there are going to be some sacrifices. And I think some people get very confused with, like, you know, balance, but sometimes you need to have the period of time where it's not quite balanced. Like 50-50, unfortunately, isn't going to get you to your goals. And it's kind of knowing that, okay, I don't need to restrict 100%, but I also can't be down here. And it's finding that happy medium. I remember you, because of course we, you know, like a night out every now and then. We don't go out that often, but you know, you and I are quite similar in that way. I remember you messaging me on a Sunday one morning being like, I'm so disgustingly hungover. And I think you still made pretty good choices that day.
I don't remember.
that one's for just saying draw a line, moving on. But no, that was pretty good. And that about being sustainable, 100%. It's about not being on a diet, on a meal plan. It's about having something that you can adapt and knowing what the results and the outcome of
Yeah,
that.
and that's for me. I think, you know, it took me maybe kind of 4 or 5 weeks to really get into thinking this is really worth it. You know, these small adjustments and small sacrifices, they are worth it, because this feeling is better than any treat I might have after work, or, you know, that my priorities changed. It was, you know, that, like you said, that long term gratification, that, like, you just can't beat that feeling of kind of feeling your body change and your health change. That's what got me. You know.
I think that's the thing, and I think it really is. And I think some people, going back to your point about Domino's, some people get really stressed when they've got social events because they're like, you feel like you've got to kind of just got to like do what everyone else is doing, and people really feel like that with alcohol. Like they really don't want to drink on the night out, but they're like, oh well, I drank because everyone was out, and they feel peer pressured, etc. What's really powerful is you being able to have that conversation with your friends and say, actually, girls, you know what, like I'm on this journey and I'm just really not feeling a Domino's.
Yeah.
Environment and the people around you is so key. And yeah,
I was going to say, I remember that night my friend turned up with like crudités as a little nibble to start with, and I just thought, wow, what a supportive, great friend. Like we hadn't talked about it. She just turned up with some carrot sticks and stuff. I was like, oh.
so beautiful. And I think that this is honestly is quite a direct thing to say, but if the people that are surrounding you and are your friends and they're like peer pressuring you to order a takeaway or have alcohol or go out all the time because you're suddenly boring or any of that terminology, like I would be very happy to say that they're probably not the right people in your life.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Love that. So okay, so we obviously started on an 8-week journey, and then you're like, oh, I kind of like this. I'm getting into my flow. I'm feeling good. You ended up doing, and then you ended up doing another extended period of time. We've been working together for 9 months. As I say, you know, you've lost like 34 pounds, stronger, fitter. But also there was this huge element of your sleep and your energy that was a big factor for you. And of course, is very difficult to also still monitor because of the dog and other things. How much has the improvement in your energy and your sleep impacted the other areas like of your life, like work?
So I think sleep. So I sleep well. It's more kind of routines, but I do think I absolutely, you know, when you're exercising and moving, you just have another level of better sleep, don't you? It's much more restorative and restful, and so I think for me it was more around the discipline of routines and the kind of benefits of getting up earlier, and trying to kind of shift that routine back and making the most of a morning and getting some more steps in. So yeah, so I you know, I was before at a point where I would kind of slide out of bed at 8:45 on days I was working from home, and you know, would be sat in my pajamas, and that just started my day off rubbish. I'd just feel like a failure before I even started my day, because I was like, well, why didn't you get up earlier, that kind of thing. But now, you know, on a work day, we get up earlier, the dog gets out, we do a good like 5-minute walk in the morning, and that really refreshes me. Like there are some days where I don't necessarily have to walk him in the morning because he's going to someone else's house where they walk him, but I still do it because I found that when I didn't, I would get into work and by midday I'd feel a bit sluggish, and I really kind of just the benefits of steps. You know, like we've had awful weather in the UK recently, and there's been some weeks where, you know, it's been pitch black and an actual storm most nights, and I haven't gone out to walk in the evenings, and I've really felt it, kind of in my productivity, in my mood, kind of feel like kind of anxiety levels creeping up, and yeah, it's just kind of been therapy, really. Just those walks, like quite a brisk walk. I like a brisk walk, and just kind of processing all my day, my thoughts, my feelings. So yeah, I've a lot. I think I've still got a long way to go. Routines and structure is something I struggle with. But yeah, if I kind of, I'm quite hard on myself around that. But if I think about this time last year, what my days look like compared to now, it is different. It is better. And I'm more productive. My focus is better. I can rest more in the evening because I'm tired. You know, I've had a productive day. I'm more restful in the evenings, where before I might have not kind of done as much movement, and I had to kind of be tired but agitated, you know, that kind of, where if you're actually tired because you've had a busy day, you can rest. And I think something I had gotten into a terrible habit with was being so exhausted from work, falling asleep on the sofa in the evening, and getting to bed really, really late. And that still, you know, sometimes I do still fall asleep, but I'm like, no, if you feel you're sleepy, get up and have a tidy up and go to bed. You know, that's your body trying to tell you that go to bed. Don't
falling asleep. That's my body telling me that I need sleep. I need to go to bed. It's true though. Think how many people like have a glass of wine on the sofa, they get all comfy, and then they're like, oh, and then you think, oh, it's only 10 minutes. And then, you know, half an hour or an hour later, and then you've suddenly, you know, you might have gone into a really deep sleep.
Yeah. So it's just things like that, just kind of just slowly working on habits, and kind of feeling the benefit and the difference from it. But I just feel, yeah, just more alive. And I think my outlook on, I do feel like I'm showing up differently. My outlook on things is so different, and I just feel just, obviously I've still got challenges with the dog and all of that, but I just feel that I just have sparkle.
I love that. I didn't even pay you to say that. But like, genuinely speaking, this is the whole point of doing these conversations, actually, is because it's really hard to actually define what our sparkle method is, right? And like, how people know what like get your sparkle back kind of means, but like, what does that look like? And I think you've just really encapsulated that really well in the sense that it's habits, it's education, it's understanding all of that, and then being able to make really informed choices, intentional choices about doing better things every day, you know, every day, showing up better.
Yeah, and like really layering, like eating more veg, but then once you've kind of cracked that, adding in more fiber or more diversity. And you know, I've really enjoyed kind of because you can't do it all at once. You can't go from 0 to 100. It would be too overwhelming. But I've just really enjoyed, and I kind of feel like, oh, what will be my next thing? So like just kind of like adding on, just improving all the time what I've got in place. And obviously there are times where that's really difficult, and there are days where it all goes wrong. But I think that's another massive thing as well that I've kind of lived by, is that, not, you know, things don't go to plan all the time, but not waiting till the Monday, just kind of, right, well, that's happened, we'll start again later, or we'll start again tomorrow, or we're not starting again because we don't need to start again because that happened and that is what it is. Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
So
that all or nothing mindset, it just gets
yeah.
cracked, because as soon as it's like that Monday reset, which is like classic diet culture behavior, like, and we're both 90s children. We, grew up with this stuff. We watched loads of films about all this stuff. We lived all of that. So that whole kind of like, right, okay, well, I've got to Friday and I've messed it up, or I've had one day where I haven't done my walk in the evening because it's stormy. You can go, actually, like, that was out of my control, and like, that's fine, I'll just do my walk tomorrow. I've got the rest of my life. And I think that that's the thing, it's looking at your journey as eternal, as opposed to a period of time in your
Yeah.
life.
And I don't know if I ever said it to you, but I have like a real sense of like calm about, I know exactly how to do this. Like, if there was ever a period in my life where I, for whatever reason, did lose these habits, did gain weight, have a baby, whatever it might be, I know what works and I know I can do it. And so I think whenever you kind of reach a goal, there's always that doubt in your mind, like, can I sustain this? Like, but I feel like I can, because we've done it so sustainably. I just have no doubt that even if things happened, I can do it.
I love that, because calm comes from confidence. Every time when you have the confidence, that, like, people talk about overwhelm and things like that all the time, and it always boils down to confidence and control, and how well, like, that you are fully in control of your actions and behaviors. And if okay, you might have the one day where you go off track or whatever, but you pretty much know how to put the right things in place, and you're confident in the education that you've soaked up along the way to implement all of that.
Yeah. And that's just like, you can't describe the feeling of that, because it's just like, yeah, I know what to do. I know how to keep myself happy, and it's just exciting to just carry on, kind of, yeah, like I said, layering on that, building on that, and seeing where life takes you.
Which I love, because obviously, as we mentioned, like, life is constantly like evolving. There's stuff going on. I love the fact that you're, showing up for yourself, and you've built some self-love, because I know that was something on your journey. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel confident, like, talking about that?
Yeah. So I think I said to you the other day, didn't I? Like, I didn't expect at all from this. Obviously, I like I said, I didn't have any specific goals. I think maybe I started off thinking maybe like half stone, that would be an achievement, and then I kind of built it. But yeah, I didn't really expect to achieve this much, but also the sense of pride in myself that I've got now, and I didn't know that was missing. It's you don't know what you don't know, do you? I didn't know that I was missing that in my life, and feeling about myself. And yeah, just like the feeling of, you smash that back, like it, and no one can take that from me, because I've done it. Like,
No one can take that from you, girl.
yeah. And I love it. It's just, there's no better feeling. And like, obviously it's lovely to be lighter, to wear clothes that I want to wear, all of the usual things, but just this kind of feeling of pride in myself is just, it's amazing.
I love that. And that's the one thing that I always want everyone to be able to recognize when they leave, is that you should be so proud of yourself. And as women, we can be so modest sometimes, and like, we still look for the, oh yeah, but I still didn't do that, or you're still comparing yourself, or you're still, but I have to say, one of the big things that, like, I love is, we've just obviously had the Christmas party a few months ago in Canterbury, and like, I know we were chatting about outfits, and one of the big things I'm always like pushing for all of you girls is like, let's go as sparkly and as out there and extra as possible. I want you to wear the dress that you never thought you'd wear. And like, I remember you saying how great you felt, and like, even other events that you've bought dresses for more recently, the freedom of that.
Just I've got a wedding coming up, and I saw a dress and I thought I like that dress, and I ordered it. It's like a glove, and I cannot wait to wear it. I'm so excited.
This is amazing. And of course, you glow differently, don't you? When you feel confident, you're wearing something. You're not like pulling at your top or like feeling like things are tight. So obviously, we touched on like dating. Like, how's that shifted for you from dating before this journey and kind of how you're feeling now?
Yeah, so I think, so like I said earlier, I've been single quite a long time now, and I just wasn't going for things, and I think I really kick myself because you know, it's tough out there in the dating world. The older we get, there's less eligible men, and I'm cross with myself that actually in the years that I wasn't feeling confident in myself were the years when there was more choice. And then I would find myself when someone, when a potential date came along, I wouldn't match with them, or I wouldn't chat with them, because I just thought, oh gosh, like I would look at their pictures and I think, I'm not getting undressed in front of them. um, and and I I just put it on hold, and it got to the point where it was like, this isn't going to change unless you make some changes. That's my goal. That's my ultimate goal, is to meet someone and start a family. And I just thought, this can't carry on. I need to make a change. So that was one of my big motivating factors. And now, like, there's still not loads of choice, but yeah, like I have been on some dates, and I've been out and felt confident, and feel really different about that. So hopefully soon the right one will come along. But yeah, it's it quite a marked change in my confidence around that. Particularly.
Yeah, I think it's like also, you like, when you're not feeling confident, like you say, you kind of think about all of the practical elements of dating, like, what about if they're going for a kiss and da 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 da, and then what about if it progresses and I don't I don't feel good in my body. But then there's also that other side of you where you probably got this wall up and this barrier, and you're not your true authentic self. And that's one thing that, like, having known you for so many years, and also still been in contact every now and then through like Holly, I just have seen your confidence and your bubbly self so much more.
Yeah, because I am quite an outgoing person and quite a bubbly person, but I did kind of shrink into myself, and I wouldn't. I remember going shopping with Holly, other Holly, once, and she was like, "Wear some colour," and I was like, "No," and she was like, "Jen, what?" And I think that that says it all, doesn't it? And now, like, this dress I bought for this wedding is a bright orange dress. Like, it's loud. Like,
it's a loud. I love it.
But yeah, just that feeling of just not being able to. I don't know what it's linked to. Is it not? Maybe it's like not drawing attention to yourself, like not being confident and as bubbly and as loud as you naturally are out and about, because you don't draw attention to yourself, because then you get self-conscious. And whereas now I'm like, woo.
Here I am. And I love that. I love it. No, that's been the best thing. And I think that's, like I say, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Yes, okay, you can lose, some body fat and you can feel good in your body. But if the confidence doesn't match, because I think that there's times where, and I've experienced this, I've lost loads of weight, but I did it all for the wrong reasons. And I did it for somebody else. And I did it because I essentially ended up giving myself body dysmorphia in my early 20s, and I was so skinny. And I remember going to Ibiza, and this guy came up to me and was like, "Are you an athlete?" And I was like, "No." And I was literally eating like couscous, half a packet of couscous for lunch, one boiled egg for my breakfast, and I wasn't happy. I reached my goal weight, and I was so miserable in myself and my body because I wasn't aligned. And I think that's the wonderful thing about when you gain confidence. You're so aligned with who you are and your true self, and you can bring that into every element. And like you said, show up as you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which gets me into trouble sometimes, but
No, we love that. We absolutely love that. I mean, okay, so lots of women feel like, you know, they have their reasons why they can't do this stuff. You had your reasons why you were a bit skeptical, you weren't sure. I guess in a way to sort of wrap up your journey and this conversation, how would you, if there's somebody listening to this that's like, I don't know if I could do this, what's your kind of advice to those women?
I would say I would say maybe give yourself a month, commit yourself fully for a month, even if you don't have trust in yourself, in the process, the belief that it will change it. Give it a month, stick to it, do that for yourself, have that kind of dedication to yourself that you'll put your all into it for a month. And I think that after a month you'll know that this is the right thing for you, and that you can do it, and that you will see results, and that you will feel better, healthier. I think, yeah, if you're not sure, just commit some time to it, take that leap, and you just never know where it can take you.
So true. Such great advice. I think it is. It's just, yeah, it's locking in for a bit and then going for it. I mean, Jen, I absolutely love that. And that's exactly what you did. And genuinely, like as your coach, and of course, you know, someone, you know, that I've known for a long time and a friend, it's been so beautiful having you just go through this process with me and One Life, and be a part of it all, getting involved in our events, you know, chatting to the other girls in the group, and just immersing yourself in the whole experience, which I think there's a lot to be said for. One last question: have you got any other thoughts or anything that, you know, final thoughts and feelings?
Just, I think, about myself or advice.
Anything you might have not mentioned, or that you want to wrap up with, like a final thought.
I think what I just said, really, just, you owe it to yourself to give yourself the best chance of living your life to the full. And this process has been life-changing for me, without a doubt. And I think on the surface it could look quite like vain, or like, oh, it's just about weight loss. It's not. Like, obviously that's a massive bonus, but it's about the way that it feels, and the kind of, it is the confidence, isn't it, and showing up. And yeah, it is life-changing, and in all aspects, which is quite unexpected. So yeah, go for it.
I love to hear it. I do. Jen, thank you so much for sharing your journey, and just, yeah, being so inspirational, and just allowing people to see that it really is possible. You have absolutely crushed it, and I know that you're continuing to think about your next steps in your journey, and how you can continue this. So it's been so lovely having you. And of course, anyone who's listening, if you want to listen to any of our other ladies' stories, then you can do that on our YouTube, on our Spotify, or of course on Instagram. But for now, Jen, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, my love.
Bye.
Bye.